Welcome to All Star Fandom and our first episode of our Fandom of Love series as we cover iconic superhero couples. That's Peter Parker and Mary Jane. That's Lois Lane and Superman. But I'm not doing this alone. I'm joined by my partner Doc, our queen of fandoms, Jen, and a very special guest, Cindy Mesa of the Yummy Geek. You like food, you like geek stuff, you like cosplay, she is your person for that. So sit back, relax, and we're going to jump right into our iconic superhero couples. Welcome to All Star Fandom, and we are back. Two faces that you might recognize, but we have a new guest with us for our Fandom of Love series that we're doing for the month of February. And I'm just gonna throw it around. Jen, you've seen her. She's our queen of fandoms. Jen, how you doing?
I'm doing really well. Thank you for having me back for this conversation. This is gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, this was gonna be really good. And then obviously my partner over here, Doc. He's finally positioned straight on to the camera. I think he's good to go.
Right. I think so. I mean, we'll never know until the camera start moving. When I start doing some shit.
Well, just stay still.
There we go.
All right. Don't move. Stay in this box. This is your. This is yours. This is what. And also, we are joined by Cindy Mesa. She is at the Yummy Geek. Cindy, tell the people about yourself and just introduce yourself to the fandoms.
Well, I am Cindy, the Yummy Geek on Instagram and TikTok, which I barely use. But anyway, I am a geeky mom who loves to eat, and I incorporate food and cosplay together. And I started Food and Cosplay, where I would highlight local restaurants as a particular cosplay, like a particular character that would match that restaurant or that dish. I also create recipes, and yeah, I'm excited to be here. So thank you so much for having me.
We're super happy to have you join this. So I'm going to be playing quarterback tonight. I'm going to have my picks, but what we're going to do is we're going to be celebrating iconic loves across fandoms. So that's from superheroes to TV shows to movies. And we all have our certain picks. We're going to go around the table. We're going to tell all of our picks and go into why those certain stories or why those certain love stories. It's the month of February. It's Valentine's month, right? Like it's a great time to do this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to toss it to our esteemed guest who's joining us for the first time, Cindy. We're going to start off superhero couples. Who's your, I guess, quintessential superhero couple, and let us know why.
Could it be like a little bit of a triangle? Because
oh, we do like okay.
I mean,
a little love triangle.
I love Spider-Man. I love Peter Parker, and I love his love story with Gwen. But I also love his love story with MJ. Mm-hmm. And I say it's a love triangle because I think both of them were the love of his life, just in different moments in his life. And I do love the idea of being a superhero that falls in love with someone who's just, average Joe type of thing, because it creates a very complicated dynamic, and I just love complicated love stories. So that's my superhero couple that I absolutely love.
Yeah, so if that's that triangle, because Mary Jane has always been the to me
the
personally,
epitome of his heart.
Like what did she say when she showed up? Like, hot. Aren't you lucky, Tiger, or something like that when she showed up to the party?
Face it, Tiger. You just hit the jackpot.
I think one is more of an, I guess I want to say an innocent love story. I mean, they're both innocent love stories, but one is a little bit more of a, I guess, sweeter dynamic. I can't explain it. And I want to say that between Gwen and Peter, as opposed to MJ and like Spider-Man type of situation. But again, I call it a triangle because he does love them at, some point in his life. He loves both of them. And again, to me, it's a complicated situation compared to other like superhero couples that are both superheroes, that both have some sort of like that same dynamic of, having powers or having abilities. Whereas these women don't.
At all.
And they're always going to be put in danger because it's always one of those things where it's like, oh, that's who you care about, so let me go after that, let me go after this, because that's your kryptonite, right? That's Spider-Man's kryptonite type of thing.
And Jen, I'll throw this to you before I get this one off. Pete, you probably add a fourth one in there with Black Cat. So so Pete was like hot stuff around New York City, man. Like he was.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, come on, Felicia Harding, and then I mean, come on.
Well, yeah, Felicia's definitely up there.
Yeah. So Jen, about this one, I mean, Mary Jane and Peter Parker, they're Marvel's like epitome of like a relationship. But we got X-Men, obviously, and I'm sure somebody might have that, or maybe somebody doesn't. But what do you think about that? About Cindy's superhero couple?
No, I think it's a great pick, and I've never thought about it as a love triangle before, because you're absolutely right. He does love both of them in different seasons of his life, and I think it's hard to tell sometimes which one he would prefer over the other, because his feelings go really deep for both of them. And then to Cindy's point, where because they are found out to be his love interest, that's technically going after Spider-Man's heart. And same thing with Aunt May. Whenever villains find out who his identity is and the people in his life, they're like, oh, it's like, okay, let's go get them, because it's attacking his heart and it's going to get him to react emotionally and for him to not think, because the goal is to take him down. So I don't disagree with that. I think it's a great pick, and I love the thought of it actually being a triangle.
I don't know. You know me, I'm always a sucker for like that hopeless romantic, and that's what Peter was the entire time. Hopelessly romantic and hopelessly in love with Mary Jane from the beginning, So I never thought of it as a triangle, when it comes to his actual love interest. It's always been Mary Jane. If I'm not mistaken, he ends up with Mary Jane. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like he's always loved her from the first time he saw her as a neighbor sitting over there twiddling his thumbs, being, goofy. Like, oh, she's cute.
Well, she showed up to the door, was like, I pulled the quote, face it, Tiger, you just hit the jackpot. Like that.
Hey, that's
talk about jumping in. Like,
hey, dog. So I mean, that's how I look at it. I mean, but I love your choice that you made it a triangle, a love triangle. That's kind of cool the way you looked at it. So I mean, as far as couples go, and hey, the month of love, I can rock with that.
Yes, and that was a good pick. It's a solid choice, especially like you said. It's not an up and down relationship a bit, but it's always, once you throw the villains in there, and then we find out who Spider-Man is. That's that whole new dynamic, similar to what Jen said as well. Yep. So that whole thing is just. Yeah, man, I want to throw Black Cat in there too, but that's a good one.
I mean, is that love though? Is that love?
Is it?
I don't think that's love.
Is it like
that's
love?
I was about to say something, but that might ruin it. Because I was like, this one that I'm thinking about is straight lust. Ain't no love here.
I mean, if we're talking comics or movies, I'll go straight to the movies with the Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker and Gwen love story. Because in that one, that is his true love, right? There is no MJ there.
Yeah.
And
it's so heartbreaking.
That loss completely destroys him. And that's something that's always going to stay there, because that was probably one of the worst scenes in a comic movie.
That one almost got a tear up out your boy.
That was literal heartbreak. That crack was your heart
as
well.
It's like it sends literal shivers down your spine. Like, you have got to be freaking kidding me.
Yeah, I couldn't believe they did it, because I thought like they won't do this. They'll stay away from this. But Spider-Man is beaten down in every single adaptation that he's ever been in. They take everything away from him. I feel
Which
bad.
is why it's so important that he gets a little bit of a love story, because he deserves it. He has so much shit happening to him.
Yes, like, that's what I'm saying.
Bam after bam.
You deserve some type of love, some type of peace, some type of something.
Yeah, I agree. You deserve some type of peace. Just with everything you're doing to protect the city and your personal sacrifice, you need to get one thing.
Yeah.
I know, right?
One
the
thing.
key to the city isn't enough. So Jen, I'm gonna throw it to you. I'm gonna make you number 2. Who did
Okay.
you pick for your superhero couple?
You know what? And it's from the cinematic universe is Bruce Banner and Black Widow.
I was
Okay.
going, oh, that's a good one.
Yeah,
Yes, it
I
is.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of different stories of superhero couples. There's something to enjoy about every one of them, but when they introduced that in the movies, I was like,
Yeah.
okay. It was very, very interesting because you have Bruce Banner who has anger issues, which is why he has the Hulk, and his struggle to learn how to control it. And then you have Natasha come along and she's like flirting with him in one of the Avengers movies, and he's like, what? No,
Yeah.
and being
Yeah.
all dirty. It's so
The
cute.
sun's getting
And
low.
then they've developed a connection, and then she has this way to bring him back to Bruce
Mm-hmm.
where she says, "Hey, big guy, the sun's getting low,"
Yep.
and
Mm-hmm.
he just responds to it. I'm like, I want to see more of this story, please.
That did not work for
So
Thor, by the way. Like that did
yeah,
Well,
Yeah,
no,
Thor was like, hey, buddy, the
doesn't have
sun
yeah,
is
he
no.
getting
doesn't have
low.
that
Yeah.
touch. He doesn't have to touch. He doesn't have to touch. So yeah, for me, that was in seeing that in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That one really stuck out to me. Bruce Banner and Black Widow.
With that one, I don't think they fully sort of capitalized on it as it went too.
No, they
I felt like
couldn't.
there was no
No,
full follow up,
I would have loved for them to
unless we missed
expand it.
something.
So we got. I would have loved for them to expand it to give him more breathing room. This is where my comic book knowledge really falls short because I don't know what's in the comics concerning that. Because what I do know is, Natasha kind of goes around a little bit because she ends
Yeah.
up with Bucky at some point. Because even in the movie, she says, "You don't recognize me." When Bucky comes back, that was a reference to the comic books and their relationship. So yeah, she's been around.
In Age of Ultron, I'm pretty sure that's why he kind
Yeah.
of
He just left,
disappears, is
yeah.
because
That's right. Yeah.
he's scared of
Mhm.
hurting her because
Ultron.
he realizes that yes, there's certain things that she can do to help him, and there's certain things that he's done as well to kind of better. But at the end of the day, he still sees himself as a monster. Like he's still a monster,
Yeah.
and I don't think he
I mean,
sees a
oof.
future with her, even though she did. And I love
Mm-hmm.
that pick because it's a very impossible love story, and it's sort of like
Yeah.
what could have been, because you're right, they never really
We
take
capitalized
it
on
any
it, yeah.
further.
They don't let it breathe.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those like, man, what would have happened if they did get together or really tried it out,
Yeah,
or
because
yeah.
Age of Ultron was not a good movie for the Hulk.
But I think that's
And
why Natasha loved him so much too, is because she herself, let's be real, at some point was kind of a monster too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
Mhm.
She was
killed
she was trained to be one.
to be
Yeah.
one, exactly. So I feel like because she wanted that sort of redemption, and she saw him as this almost like her, it was like her own reflection type of thing, where he's not a bad guy, he really isn't. I mean, this shit
No.
happened to him and that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like she thought that maybe she could, I don't want to say save him because he didn't need saving, but like that she could help him in the sense like control himself. But
Mhm.
at the end of the day, he's like, no, this is who I am. Like I have to leave.
So Doc, let's throw it over to you, man. We have so far Pete, MJ, and Gwen, and
Uh-huh.
then we also have for Jen's Hulk and Black Widow. Who do you have as your superhero couple?
Man. Y'all know my favorite character. Well, one of my favorite characters in Marvel is Wolverine. And
Okay, question.
so we going with the triangle.
More triangles.
We going with the triangle, cuz. You said love story, bro. We talking about a real true love story, cuz. Come on now.
Let's go.
Come
Let's
on, from
go.
the comic book to
Yeah.
the movie to
Let's
the other
do
movie
it.
to the next movie. We talking about Cyclops. My girl Jean Grey, she's so and we talking about Big Dog Wolverine, although he 5'3".
Hey man, our short king.
That's you talking about the ultimate love story now, bro. And then the way it ended for Wolverine to be the one to end it, that was heartbreaking.
Mm.
So we're talking sort of movie scope
So
for this
I'm
one a
talking
little
about
bit.
the whole scope of
Yeah.
the love story, because Wolverine has always been in love with Jean Grey from the time Professor X found him.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
he's
Yeah.
always from the time he first saw
From
her, he
Go.
was like, "Oh my goodness, yeah."
He was
Not
like,
even
hey.
knowing before he even knew about your boy Scott.
Yep.
He was just like, "Hey, I'm trying to holler at her. What's up?"
Yeah,
and fell in love
But that's the
immediately.
thing,
Though.
man. You can't. I love the pick. I get the reason why, but you can't be in the bed caressing some other woman's picture. You know, like, and then you ain't.
And she got a whole husband over here. You feel me?
You can't do that. You can't do that, Wolverine. You can't.
Oh man.
And you talking about absolute love is crazy, because Wolverine absolutely 100% loved this woman. I don't think
Yeah.
people
Oh, yeah.
really grasp the concept of how much he loved Jean Grey, bro.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
mean-
if people are just watching the films do not articulate that well at all. You
No.
get that more from the comics. You
Mhm.
have to know the comic book lore
Yeah.
of Wolverine to really understand
Well, even
that.
the animated
And
series does a really good
I was
job.
gonna.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, of course, in one of the comments, he did fall in love with, I can't remember her name, the Japanese assassin he fell in love with, and that was love, but that was nothing compared to him
Oh, I forgot about
being
that.
in love with Jean Grey the Phoenix. You know what I'm saying? That
Well, no, like, I agree. It's like that was his first love, and it's like when people have that first love, nothing caps that.
and like we talking about a dude that's over 200 years old who
Mhm.
falls in love like that, bro. You've been alive for this long, and this
And-
woman,
and he
woman is
finally
one
has
that
that.
captured you, like everything, and you're willing to you're willing to die for this woman. You don't even know how you can die. You don't even know if you can die, but you're willing to do that for this woman. That's
Yep.
ultimate love, bro.
I agree. Cindy, any thoughts on the
I mean, I feel
triangle
bad
again,
for-
right?
I feel bad for Scott. I feel really
I
bad for
know.
him.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not hating on
But
Scott.
no, but I agree. I feel like Wolverine is one of those characters where you don't see much of that sort of lovey-lovey
Mhm.
feel to him. Like you see it in Scott, but you don't see it in him. So for him to fall so deeply in love with this
Mhm.
person, yeah, that to me is a big deal. And I hate that it's a love triangle too, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
And
More
again,
interesting.
it's another impossible love
Yep.
story because there's nothing he can do. There's
Yeah.
really nothing he can do. So I think it's a great pick. I love love triangles. They're so much fun. Like it's fun,
Yeah, another triangle in this month of love here at All Star Fandom. So I do have a pick as well. Obviously, I'm involved in this
Who
too.
did you pick?
I'm glad I have a list here of multiples because 2 of mine were taken.
Oh,
But I think the one that I had was the right one to be for me. I think one of the best love stories in superheroes is Batman and Catwoman. The rooftop chases, the rooftop
Okay.
chases at night.
okay.
Oh,
Okay.
literal cat and mouse.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
So
good.
Batman has always been defined by like this order, justice, strict moral code. And then all of a sudden you have, a cat burglar hops out of the window and takes off running. He takes off running after. And it's just a cat and mouse game every single time. There are times like you can, I don't know, there's that attraction there. I'll take a reference from just the Michael Keaton Batman Returns movie.
Yeah.
That there, all the way to the
Yes.
ending,
Yep.
you can see that like sort of like love between them. And then we get into the animated versions where they're running on rooftops. Batman's forever chasing it. But I think the biggest dynamic there is like, can Batman truly like allow himself to be happy without compromising like everything that he stands for? Because Selina's she's a thief. Let's be honest. Like she doesn't work. She steals. That's all she
stole
does.
from him. She stole the pearls from him. Remember?
So like with that being said, even though that he knows her, and that's the thing too. There's their identities as well. She sees him as, I guess you can say, like that darkness of Batman and what Bruce Wayne is. They don't they don't play games between each other. Granted, it's cat and mouse games, but they know who each other are.
Yeah.
Like the true selves. There's also been those times where Selena helps out, where Selena walks that line of like good and bad, and then all of a sudden she's on the good side, and then she's hopping out the window with what they were trying to get. Now she's back on the bad side. So I think that back and forth dynamic was great. The flirtation, I mean, it's Batman and Catwoman. I mean, but just having that dynamic, I think outside of his relationships with like Vicky Vale, Talia al Ghul, she sees him for who he actually is, and he sees her for who she is.
And you think that's what he's infatuated with because she sees him, so to speak?
Pretty much because his mask is Bruce Wayne.
The way that Catwoman and Batman see each other, and just even with the dialogue, what they have, and how they basically have moments where they call each other out on their crap, and there's acceptance with it, and there's just this natural draw. I don't think I see him have with other love interests.
Now I'm gonna throw a grenade off in this room now.
Do it.
There it is. Catch it. Somebody will catch. No, get catch.
Why would you catch a grenade, Jen? Why would you catch a grenade?
So, this is what I was saying earlier when I was thinking about something. Like, y'all don't think that was straight lust with Batman and Catwoman?
Oh, definitely.
No,
I don't.
You don't
like,
think straight lust
not
with
Batman, like there's
with
like
Batman and Catwoman?
I think in the beginning it was
Perhaps.
lust. Like the lust component was there because it's different, it's dark, chasing each other on rooftops. They can basically do whatever they want. But then as the conversation started happening, it grew into something more real. So I think it starts with lust, but then it grows into something very raw.
I think it's a mutual respect that they have for each other. Like they know what they do, right? Like you just said, they know their identities, they know what they do. And I think despite the fact, like you said, does Batman sacrifice his morals and everything he stands for? But I feel like he does. With her, he does. Yeah. Not that he lets it go completely, but there is that mutual respect and understanding between them. Where she does have her moments as a hero, and he respects that. I also feel like maybe he wishes he could sometimes do what she does. Not in the sense Yeah, like kind of cross that line of like she just does what she needs to do and that's it. Whoever gets in the way gets in the way. I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah, there's this nonchalant, I don't care, I'm just gonna do it, and you should do it too. I don't know why you care.
No, and I just also think like she doesn't try to like fully change him. She just tries to see where his limits are. Like
she's pushing buttons.
Yeah, so she'll test. But Batman with his strong moral code, like Cindy, you just said, like, yeah, he might let her go or whatever, but a week later he shows up at somewhere getting whatever she ran off with. So it's a cat and mouse game. So that's my sort of superhero couple, iconic couple, I suppose.
I like it.
It's a good one.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm going to open the floor real quick because I won't get out of here without it. Honorable mentions. Apparently, one of us had an honorable mention. Do you still have an honorable mention?
I had like 6, but yeah.
Just one. Just give us your best one.
Come on, we got to go with Superman and Lois Lane, bro.
That was on my list too.
The iconic love couple of all comics.
All right, here's a question. Why didn't you pick it then?
Because that wasn't as far as most memorable.
Boring.
And I was going to say that, but as far as like she said,
it's very vanilla.
Throw a little spice, throw a little cayenne in that thing. But that's the ultimate love couple. I'm just saying, bro. You
it is. It's just very vanilla compared to everything you've been talking about.
Yeah, you're right, though.
And there you have it. Those are our list of iconic superhero couples. And our next Fandom of Love series, we're going to jump into TV couples and then movie couples. So be sure to sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride through the month of February. And be sure to like, share, subscribe to all the social media stuff for All Star Fandom. Share with a friend. Share the love over the course of February. But until next time, until next week, peace.